everyone, this is Gail, and I thought I would take a break from my Fun Stampers Journey online party, which is still open. If any of you would like to join, I'll put a link below. So far it's been a lot of fun. I am going to attempt, and I don't know how this is going to work, and so if it messes up, you may never see this video. But I'm going to take some scraps from my malachite cane that I did for my Patreon thank you, and some white and different browns, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make a abstract beach I guess tiles or bracelet, whatever you want to call it. And I've seen several people do this technique. I think the latest one I've seen was Cindy Leitz, the Polymer Clay Tutor. She did a version, and I liked hers. And there are several, like I said, there's several other people that have done this. But I'm going to attempt to make a beach scene, and it's been so long since I've done one, I don't know if I'm going to have all the right colors or not. I'm thinking blue for the ocean, but also blue for the sky, and I would really like to do different colors. But what I'm thinking, well, let me just, rather than think, let me just do. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of arrange some colors. I'm going to save some of this for down here. I'm going to put this up here. And the blue is kind of going to be in the middle. And I think I'm going to try to go with this. I might mix a little bit of white with this. Maybe I'll use this. This has got some translucent in it. Just because I want a lighter blue, and I don't want to take the chance of mixing, that it'll happen automatically, because it doesn't always happen that way. So let me just mix a little bit of blue. Okay, now I've mixed a little bit of white with this to give it a little bit lighter, and I don't know that it's still going to be light enough, but what I'm going to do, and let me take the white and put it to the side a little bit. I'm going to take some ecru, because I've got to have sand, and then water, and then sky. So I'm going to take some ecru. If you have any scrap browns or light browns, feel free to use that. I think I'm going to just do this. Let me put all of my clay to the side, and I'll just build it as I go. I can leave that there. And just kind of pinch it into small pieces. You're going to chop it afterwards, so it doesn't really matter, but you're going to mix some other colors in with this. Now the sand here in Virginia is rather light, and I really like the white sand beaches, which is pretty much what ours is. But if you look at the sand, you'll see little bits of black and all different colors, because sand is actually ground up rocks and shells. So there's all different colors. I think I'm going to add a little bit more. I want to make sure I have enough. So I'm going to be mixing in some colors in with this ecru, because this is awfully dark for Virginia sand. I don't know what sands. Only places I've been to the beach are North Carolina, Virginia, and Florida. And most all of them have white sand beaches. But I do know there's other color sand. Excuse me, it is allergy season. I know there are other colors of sand. I know in Bermuda they have a pink sand beach. And in Hawaii, I've heard there's a black sand beach. Matter of fact, I know there is. My nephew just got back from there and he took pictures of it. But I'm going to crumble up some white and mix it in here with it. I'm going to just keep the white in a little bit smaller pieces than my ecru, just because I don't want the white to be prominent, but yet I want it mixed in with it. So I'm going to add a little bit of white. I might add a few little pieces of black, because even if you don't see the black, some places have rocks that are black. It's one of the things I love to do when I go to the beach in North Carolina, is to look for rocks. Everybody else is looking for shells. I like to look for rocks. And I only pulled out a few little tiny pieces of black, so I'm going to go ahead and just drop them in this mix. But just make sure you make enough. If you're going to be making a bracelet, you might need 7 tiles, so make sure that you're making enough to make your bracelet. And I've also got some darker brown. I think this is raw sienna. And I've just got some little pieces in my package, so I'm just going to take some of these little pieces and stick them in here. Don't want to overdo it, but just to add some color so that you don't just have this glob of solid ecru. And I also have some burnt umber. There's no little pieces in that, so I'm just going to cut off just a little corner because I don't want much. And break some of that up in here. And like I said, I don't want a lot, just enough to add some little different shades of brown. And I even have some of this red gold, was it red gold glitter? What's it called? Yeah, red gold glitter. It's kind of crumbly, but I thought it would be nice to have a little bits of sparkle in the sand. So I'm just going to crumble up a little bit of that. Rose gold glitter, not red gold glitter. Rose gold glitter. I couldn't read the label. But this is so crumbly, I haven't been able to use it for anything else, so I may as well incorporate it in with my sand to add just a little bit of sparkle. Alright, and then we're going to, I may still add some more ecru. I'll just put it on top. I just want to make sure I'm going to have enough when I'm done to make enough tiles for a bracelet. I've done some other tiles and never had enough to make a complete bracelet. I've got them in a box over here. I ought to pull them out and look at them a little bit so I can see what colors I use, but then that would kind of take away the fun. Alright, so there's the beach. Now we got to start with the water, and I'm going to just take pieces of this malachite cane because it's got all different colors of blue. I mixed 5 colors of blue to make this cane. But unfortunately, my patrons were the only ones that got to see this. But I'm going to, just cut some of this up. This is going to be my water. And I need as much water as I have sand. Because as much as I love the sand on the beach, the water is what gives me peace. And this might take a while, so I may fast forward a little bit while I'm crumbling up my blue. It's not exactly an exciting thing to watch. Okay, I've chopped up some blue for my water, and now I'm going to go to the sky. And you see my white has got some blue mixed on it. That's not going to hurt anything because I'm going to put a little bit of white here, even if it's got the blue, just as a transition between the water and the sky. And with a little bit of luck, it might even come out looking like clouds. But I just wanted to put some white here between the blue and then the blue that I'm going to use for the sky. And I'm going to start with my lighter blue. Remember the blue that I mixed a little while ago? It's just a little bit lighter than the other blue. And the lighter blue will get mixed in with this white. But I'm going to go ahead and use most of this white here. I'm going to save that for another place. And then again, I'm just going to start chopping up the lighter blue. You notice these pieces aren't necessarily real tiny because after all this is over and done, I'm going to chop it all up with my blade anyway. So it doesn't have to be really small unless you're, like in the sand, I was trying not to make too big of pieces of some of the darker colors. But for the sky and the water, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to just put this lighter color blue here next to the white. And if it mixes in, that's okay, because that's what we want it to do, is kind of mix in. You could even put a little bit of yellow in here. That's what I could do. I could add a little bit of yellow to that white, and it might give the impression of a sunset or a sunrise. And I do believe I have some scrap yellow over here left from my flower cane that I did last week. But this is really good for just relaxing clay work. Let me go ahead and finish with my sky. This is a little bit darker. Not much, but a little bit. And then I'm going to put some white up in here to hope, and I'm going to leave those in fairly big chunks, and hopefully that will mimic some clouds. And I don't know, I think I might add a little bit more blue down here. I might mix some of this blue up here too. Because everybody knows the sky, unless it's a really beautiful, clear day, it's very seldom all the same color everywhere. And we're always creating interest in our designs. And this clay has some of the lighter blue in it anyway, so I'd like to get some of that lighter blue mixed in with my water, because there's a lot of the dark blue in there. And this should just about do it. Now let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, that's a little bit big. But I'm going to start chopping. And I'm going to start chopping down here. And you just want to get everything chopped up into little bitty pieces. And it's not necessary to keep all of your colors separate, but at the beginning I like to, just so I don't end up with a bunch of different colors. Now the sand was already chopped up fairly small, so there's not a lot I need to do to that, but I am going to just chop a few more times. Now I'm going to chop this blue. This is the darker blue, which is going to be the water. And when you start doing this is where it starts to blend a little bit. I just want to chop this up into fairly small pieces. And you see the white kind of got lost in there, but it's there. And then on up into the darker sky, or the lighter sky, I should say. Now I'm going to go sideways again, so it's going to start blending. So all you have to do is just watch where your colors go. Don't move your blade around a lot, just kind of go straight across. You want to get rid of all these big pieces. Alright, now we're going to see what we've got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrunch all this up together. And I'm going to take one of my pieces of plastic, and you can use wax paper, you can use just about anything that will allow you to get this together, and just kind of scrunch it. What you're trying to do is to make a solid piece of clay. You might have to lift this up a few times. When it's teeny tiny pieces, it has a tendency to stick to your fingers, so this is just to keep it from sticking to your fingers. If you didn't use this and it's sticking to your fingers, that's why. And once you get it kind of solid, you can take your plastic off, and then you can start using your fingers. And the first thing you notice is that this is about, where's my ruler? This is about almost 5 inches long, and if this is the way our landscape is going to go, that's a pretty big tile. So you also need to kind of condense it a little bit. It's sort of like reducing a cane, but different. You know what I mean? You just need to scrunch it in. You can take your roller to help with this, and just kind of scrunch it up to what it's about maybe 3 inches. Doesn't look like much yet, does it? Now the thing is, we want to roll it on our pasta machine, but it's too thick, so we need to go this way to roll it on the pasta machine. You gotta thin it out. I have a new pasta motor, so I don't want to mess it up by putting clay in it that's too thick. So just try to flatten it out a little bit. Now I'm going to take this through my pasta machine at the widest setting. and we'll see what we've got. I think maybe this needs to go up a little bit. Trying to make this as close to a rectangle as I can. Doesn't always work that way. But we'll have less scrap at the end if we can kind of keep it rectangle shaped. Alright, here goes. Let me roll it through the pasta machine. Alright, there's one pass, and that doesn't look bad. I kind of like that side too. I think what I might do, let's see. I don't know which side I like the best. Let's roll it a little bit thinner and maybe it'll come to me. Let me go down to a number 3. Okay. So then there's that side. And there's this side. I think I like this side. So because I like this side, I'm going to fold this once. So now this side is going to be on both sides. So let me go through here one more time. Okay, it's not looking too bad. I like the beach on this side, but I like the sky on this side. Decisions, decisions. I'm going to just roll it through one more time. Alright, now, alright, we've got this mess, and it's got these ragged edges on it. And this is one time that you want the ragged edges. Because what I'm going to do now is fold this ragged edge down. And I'm going to roll this folded edge up. Then I'm going to roll this through the pasta machine. Now I got some holes in the middle, so I'm going to have to run it through again. But can you see where I'm heading with this? Is this beginning to look like a beach with the water and the sky? The blue got into the sand, but you know, it could be like sandbars. I think I'm going to keep this side. I'm just going to roll it one more time just to see if I can close up these holes that formed. Actually, the holes are there, and I think the holes are there because of the gold glitter clay. Let me see. Do I want to do this again? Let me try rolling up just a little bit. I'm not going to roll up the whole thing like I did before. I'm just going to roll up just a little bit. And actually, the ragged edges look pretty good on a bracelet. And I'll show you what I mean when we get a little bit more finished. I'm just going to, because these ripples and everything give more dimension to your sky. And I may even leave those holes. It might be some, have some character. So let me roll this through. And that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Can you see where it kept coming unfolded? I didn't press it down enough. But let me see. I'll take care of it this way. And I'm happy with that. We've got enough that we can cut out. Ooh, I like that one. Where we can cut out the pieces that we don't like. But if you want to take, actually I have the cutest little, and I don't know that, I haven't seen them since the year I got these. But in the school supply section at Walmart one year, they had these rulers. And they folded up at every inch. You know, they were for school, and you could put them in, you know, in somebody's lunchbox or whatever like this. But I got to thinking that these would make awesome, like if you want an 8-inch bracelet, there's 8 1-inch tiles right there. So that's kind of what I've used it for. I think I'm going to start on this end. But what I would do is lay this out, and then where these little slits are, where the tile is, I would just cut through there, and that marks all of your inches. And I'm going to cut several. Let me go ahead and cut these. You can just go ahead and follow those lines, and you'll have your 1-inch tiles. Now this is rolled out to a number 3. I certainly wouldn't go any thinner, but you can go a little thicker if you wanted to. You could roll it out even on a number 1 if you really wanted to make sure you had good strong beads, but I think the number 3 will still work fine. Let me just smooth out this edge here. And there's only one, well, there's a little hole there, and that's in the blue. I might just take a little bit of blue and just stick it down in that hole, because we're at a point now where it doesn't really matter. But now what I would do, and I would leave my ragged edges. I like the ragged edges just because this is beachy. And you know, if you don't want these big edges like this, you can cut them off to maybe make the ragged part a little bit smaller. If you want smooth beads, you can certainly cut them off. I just like the look of the ragged edge. And then what I would do is take a needle tool, or in this case I'm just going to use a little skinny knitting needle. And again, I'm going to lay just find where I want to do this. I'm just going to lay this on here just so they'll be straight, and I'm going to punch a hole. And I'd come in at least 1/8 of an inch to make your hole, but at least this way I know they'll all be straight. Almost done. You won't have to watch me much longer. But I'm going to put 4 holes in each tile. I put 2 at the top. And then I will, let's see how far in I am. I guess I was about that far in. And I will make 2 holes at the bottom half. Now, since I'm putting these holes kind of far in, I'm going to need some pretty big jump rings to put this together, and I do have some big jump rings. If you don't have big ones, you can put these holes a little bit closer together. And now would have been a good time for me to put this on paper, of course. I didn't do that. I don't know why I have this mental block on putting this on paper. But what you want to do now is to make sure you can slide this up and put it on a piece of cardstock or whatever. I'm trying to think. There's an awful lot of this left over, and how would I make earrings? What shape would I use to make earrings? Let me see what I've got here. I could do the square ones on an angle, or I could just do the square. Let me see how this is going to look. And I think I would make another one actually right next to it. And I might do 2 on an angle just so I'll have some to compare it with. There, we'll see which one of these ends up making the best earring. So I will punch holes in these. On this one, I will punch a hole in the top. And punch a hole in the top. That's not exactly in the middle. Let me move that over a little bit. This one, I'm just afraid if I do it in the middle, but I'll do it anyway. If I put one in the middle, I just don't know that they'll hang straight, but you don't know till you try, right? Now, when I put these on my cardstock or whatever I choose to bake these on, I am going to keep them in the same order so that it will look like, when you put it on your bracelet, it will look like a continuous theme. And let me see if I have any cardstock. Those are not cards. I think I've used up most of my, here's some, most of my big index cards. I don't know how many I'm going to need, so I'll just get 3. I know I need my earrings. And because you haven't touched it, there shouldn't be any fingerprints on here. So there shouldn't be any sanding to do. And let me see. Let me do 3. See, if these were already on my paper, I wouldn't have to worry about picking these up. And it doesn't matter that they're up next to each other. You don't have to separate them, even though I probably will. But with them being cut, even if they bake together, they'd be very easy to separate. Whoops, I just dumped them all in my lap. That wasn't very smart of me, was it? Let's see, I don't know. I think those two went together, but I don't think that went together. Wonder if that was it's on the other side. See how you've got your red stripe going through here? Actually, this looks like it went here. And then that. It just makes it look nicer if you keep it in a continuous pattern. So there's one card. And I may try to get all of these together. I'll go ahead and separate them. But like I say, because they're cut, they will be very easy to separate after they're baked. But there you go. There's your bracelet tiles and earring tiles. I will bake these in the oven for an hour. For those of you that know me, I always bake my clay for an hour because that way I'm sure it's really nice and strong. And then you can either, like I said, you can leave it ragged like this and put it together into a bracelet, or you can trim the ends off. There's enough space above the holes. If you want to trim the ends off and make it a smooth tile, you can do that. Since these are smooth, I may do that. I think I will. I think I'm going to make sure that these are together the way they go. This one was turned around. I don't know where this one went. I think it was over there. I didn't have it right. I could tell by the way the holes looked that I didn't have it in the right direction. But I think I'm going to just trim off just enough to cut off the ragged edge. Try to cut it straight. I may as well do the bottom while I'm at it. The only thing is when you do it this way, you have to make sure that all of your tiles are the same size. So let me match these up. And make sure your holes are lined up too. Whoops, I trim that one and I didn't mean to. Let me even this one up a little bit. Okay, so here's where you can compare to see which way you like it. That's the smooth, and this is the ragged. And you can do it either way you want. It is entirely up to you. But see here all the little different colors that are in the sand? Whereas if I had just used ecru, it would have just been plain old beige. But even here you can see that the colors just, you know, it looks like sand. Looks like some of it's wet and some of it's not. And I love it. So I'm going to trim the rest of them. I'm going to bake them at the recommended temperature. This is a little bit of Primo and a little bit of Kato. So Kato is fine at 275. So that's the temperature for the Primo. So I'm going to bake these at 275 for an hour and put them together into a bracelet and earrings. And I will, if I can get them done before I'm ready to post this video, I will put them on, put a picture of it at the end of this video. So hope you enjoyed that. Do the same thing with greens and browns and blues and make a, you know, make a mountain or make some kind of just a landscape. You can do so many things with using just different colors of clay. I could have put a little bit more white up here in the top. I was afraid to put too much and I ended up not putting enough, but it's enough wispiness in there. It looks like wispy clouds. So anyway, have a great day and I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.